Four letters, one word.
Jey Uso's out. Jey Uso is out, I believe. He is out.
In the long and storied lineage of WWE champions, very few title runs have garnered as much initial excitement followed by overwhelming disappointment as Jey Uso's. Long regarded as one of the most consistent tag team performers in WWE history, Jey Uso's solo journey towards singles gold had the makings of an underdog success story. Unfortunately, the reality of the title run was far from a success. Despite a strong foundation laid by his emotional involvement in the Bloodline storyline and years of tag team accolades, Jey's world title reign proved to be one of the most uninspired and underwhelming in recent history. I'm going to explore Jey Uso's path to the top, the lackluster feuds and matches during his reign, the crowd's lukewarm reception to him once he actually started to wrestle, and the brief and forgettable nature of the runs of both the IC title and the world title. My name is Mex. I make videos on WWE and AEW, so if that sounds like something for you, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and today I'm going to explain to you why Jey Uso's title run was woeful. Jey Uso's rise to singles prominence began organically. His work in the Bloodline storyline, particularly from 2020 through to 2023, showcased his ability to convey complex emotion, family loyalty, and inner conflict. The moniker Main Event Jey Uso was more than just a nickname. It was a signal that WWE was considering him as a credible singles star. During his time with Roman Reigns and the Usos' record-breaking tag team reign, Jey delivered compelling promos and developed a strong connection with the audience, particularly due to the family dynamics and emotional storytelling in the Bloodline saga. This build-up led fans to believe he could eventually break out on his own and claim a singles title despite the growing concern of the quality of his matches. However, this is the WWE, and with match quality not being the most important thing in the world to them, and the Yeet movement running wild, they decided to put the rocket on Jey Uso, and the push began. When Jey Uso captured the Intercontinental Championship, fans were hopeful. The title has long been considered the workhorse championship, one that demands consistency and elevates a wrestler's reputation through great matches and frequent defenses. However, Jey's IC title run was short, forgettable, and lacked meaningful defenses. 28 days long and one televised title defense, to be exact. There was no signature feud, no defining match, and no sense that Jey brought anything new or dynamic to the title. It felt more like a filler run than a stepping stone. Fast forward to his world title win at WrestleMania 41. Even in the build up to this, Jey Uso and Gunther's feud failed to capture the audience's attention until twin brother Jey Uso was violently beaten down by the ring general, taking Jey Uso back to that place of pain and emotion where he best operates. Jey's eventual world title victory came at a time when the roster was stacked with higher profile talents, but few were more deserving, more popular, and had more momentum than Jey Uso. The Yeet movement had swept over the WWE universe and had even included US rap stars Lil Wayne and Quavo joining him to make his entrances into arenas. People were yeeting at their college graduations, and through all of this, Jey became a top merch seller in the WWE. And maybe there lies the issue. Crowning Jey Uso as the World Heavyweight Champion felt more like WWE cashing in on someone that had become incredibly popular over the last few years, rather than launching a true top-tier champion. A world champion is expected to elevate everyone they work with, provide memorable moments, and hold the crowd's attention week to week, and apart from his high-energy concert-like entrances, Jey failed in all three. For me, his inability to score wins over Seth Rollins and particularly Bron Breakker was concerning. Yes, they were trying to establish a new faction, but if the world champion can't pin either of his first opponents after winning the strap, is he really a world champion? Jey Uso pinned Logan Paul at Saturday Night Main Event in a title defense, won a tag match, and then lost the title to Gunther. This brought to an end a miserable 51-day world title run, leaving a lot of fans vindicated after noticing that there was always a lack of substance behind making him a champion outside his electric entrance. There were no long-term story arcs, no significant promos, and no rivalries that captured mainstream attention. Just a man enjoying his 15 minutes of fame before returning the title to the rightful owner. As previously mentioned, the match quality wasn't all the way there either. While Jey is an excellent tag team performer, his singles matches lacked pacing, diversity, and the storytelling required for main event level work. They were serviceable at best and forgettable at worst. There was no WrestleMania caliber match, no payback classic, and no standout moment that made fans say, this is why Jey Uso is the champ. One of the most glaring issues with Jey Uso's title reign was his inability to truly connect with the audience as a singles champion. While fans had supported him during his bloodline struggle, that support didn't translate into sustained excitement once he held the gold. Champions need to project an aura of confidence, command presence, and drive storylines. Jey Uso seemed uncertain in promos, breathless a lot of the time, often talking about how everybody doubts him as a champion. I wonder why. Without a compelling reason to care, fans would enjoy themselves when it was time to yeet, but began tuning out when the bell would ring. Jey didn't feel like a world beater. He felt like someone temporarily holding the belt until someone better came along. Both his Intercontinental and World title runs were shockingly short. While short reigns can sometimes serve to elevate multiple stars in a tight storyline window, in Jey's case, they only highlighted how little trust WWE had in him as a long-term draw. Now it must be said, it is reported that Triple H made the call to put the title back on Gunther as a means to have a championship match between Gunther and the retiring Goldberg in the near future. Now, does that match even need a championship? Let me know down below in the comments. Despite the failure of his title runs, all is not lost for Jey Uso. He still possesses incredible tag team chemistry with Jimmy Uso, and he is still incredibly over. First championship reigns are often tricky no matter who the superstar is, as they are always having to prove themselves to the audience and to justify the office's decision. Randy Orton had an awful first world heavyweight title run lasting only 28 days, and this is a man that has gone on to become a 14-time world champion and will one day be a WWE Hall of Famer. If Jey Uso is to rise again, he must evolve beyond the yeet movement and form a distinct identity. I genuinely think a heel Jey Uso in a similar mold to the right-hand man Jey Uso from the bloodline, an aggressive, rabid brawler who carries grudges and has a chip on his shoulder, would make for a better champion at Intercontinental or World Championship level. Most importantly, he would need to be in storylines that reflect his pain and upcoming purpose. Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, these guys should be front of the line for a world champion Jey Uso if we are to do this again, but more importantly, let's rebuild the character before we do this again. Jey Uso's brief stints with both the Intercontinental and World titles only emphasized WWE's experimental approach with him, profiting with his popularity rather than genuine belief. There's no shame in failing to carry the top prize. It's a role that only a few can truly thrive in. Jey Uso has always been a team player, a reliable performer, and a beloved member of the WWE roster. But as a singles world champion, no yeet. And while the WWE dubbed him as main event Jey Uso, even his world title win was in the opening match. Maybe this is just the opening chapter to his story as a top champion in the WWE. Time will tell. Despite great fan reaction and merch sales, in every other measurable way, storytelling, match quality, and moment making, Jey Uso's world title run was woeful. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you agree that Jey Uso's title run just wasn't good? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos, and click the video on screen to hear about two women who may soon become world champions themselves, Naomi and Mercedes Moné.